Welcome, friends, to this first installment of the Strictly Medicinal Herbal Materia Medica video course. Here we are in one of our gardens looking at a diverse array of medicinal herbs and vegetables. Today we're going to start the course with an herb that is appropriately named Self-Heal, the lowly Prunella vulgaris, in the mint family, the Lamiaceae, characterized by irregular flowers and square stems. The herb is hardy to zones 3 to 9, and it is an herbaceous perennial, which means that it will die down in the winter, sometimes remaining green or sometimes going completely dormant, and then emerge again, the same plant, the next year. The plant is native to Europe, but it's traveled all over the world. I was recently giving a talk in North Carolina, and I wanted to talk about self-heal. I walked across the lawn, and sure enough, there in the middle of the lawn was a little self-heal leaf flagging out, waving me down. I've seen it grow on the Pacific shore in short grasses, flowering bravely. I've seen it in the mountains at thousands of feet elevation, growing in moist places and springs and dried up creek beds. You can always find some self-heal if you really need it. The part used is the dried flowering cob. You pluck off that entire cob-like structure on the top and dry it, and then make tea out of it. Put a small handful in a quart jar and pour hot water over the top and lid it off, and then let it steep for 10 or 20 minutes, and then pour it through a strainer and allow it to cool before use. In traditional Western medicine, we use self-heal flowers in the treatment of oral lesions, any kind of problem with the oral mucosa or any mucous membrane, indeed, in the entire body. It has an astringent activity and also an antiviral activity, so it's used in treating herpes virus and quickly lessens the size of the sore and also lessens the pain that's involved in the viral lesion. This activity can be attributed to the presence of powerful tannins in the plant as well as an antiviral constituent. It's easy to cultivate this plant in the garden setting. You can sow seed in the spring, or you can transplant in a plant from the greenhouse, or make a division of one of the plants from the wild or from a runner of another plant that's in the garden. Make divisions, replant, surround by compost, keep moist in the shade to sun. Probably does best in the dappled shade. The cobs can be harvested at full ripeness, which is when they are purple with their flowers, and harvest when they're dry to the touch, not when they're moist and full of dew. Then hang them out, then spread them out on screens in the shade where there's good airflow and it's warm. They'll dry, and they can be stored for later use by putting in quart jars and protecting from sunlight. There's never enough self-heal in the herbal cabinet, so make sure you get plenty. You'll be giving it away to people who are suffering, and it's a great herb to have around when people are suffering from herpes lesions Then the seed saving, you just allow the cob to mature completely. It'll get brown and dry on the plant. This can be picked off, allowed to further dry in the shade, and then ground up and winnowed to extract the seeds. The seeds can be stored for years in paper in a cool and dry situation and replanted as needed.